I'm a Luka fan. The guy is so talented, but good grief. Even when he makes a shot, he's pissed about it. I can't take it. Like, bro, can you please act like you're having some modicum of fun playing basketball? And then he sucked. Look, I know Luka's one of the greatest players on earth, but my God, he is so perpetually aggrieved. And I think I'm using, let me make sure I'm going to use this word correctly. Let me look this up real quick. Okay. Agree. Okay, I got it. Aggrieved. Unhappy and angry because of unfair treatment. That is exactly what I meant. Literally exactly what I meant.
Look at you. You're a wordsmith.
Perpetually aggrieved. That's what I meant.
Great job.
Unhappy.
You should be a writer. Why don't you write for TheRinger.com, Chris, huh?
Unhappy and angry because of unfair treatment. I mean, it's so joyless, honestly. And I just feel like it was sucking the life out of everything. It's like every play, we're playing this half-court basketball game, and I'm a Luka fan. The guy is so talented, but good grief. Even when he makes a shot, he's pissed about it. I can't take it. Like, bro, can you please act like you're having some modicum of fun playing basketball? And then he sucked. Luka was terrible. He was terrible in this game. God, he was throwing the ball everywhere. Couldn't make any shots.
He had more turnovers than made shots. He had 7 turnovers, 6 makes.
And how about this for irony? There's like less than 4 minutes left in the game, and they're going back and forth. Everything's nip-tuck, and then they get a whistle on the outside. He throws up like a 35-foot three-pointer after the whistle, and it went in. I'm like, oh, yeah, of course, right? Now you make it. It's like, it was just they just could not score. They couldn't score. A couple of them were good shots that didn't go down. You had Kyrie a drive, it's like a 4-footer floater. I mean, he's making that shot 98 out of 100 times, but doesn't matter if you make it at 98 out of 100. It's one of the two he'd miss. And obviously, that Oklahoma City defense down the stretch was also very, very good. Awesome. Dallas missed some shots they should have, but I mean, outside of Luka throwing a couple lobs, getting to the line a couple times.
They didn't do much. I mean, this all really started, I feel like, with Lou Dort's defense on Luka.
For sure.
And then Cason Wallace's defense on Kyrie Irving.
You could tell Dort's under his skin.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he easily, like every single bump, you talk about Luka looking perpetually aggrieved.
Yes.
Every time Lou Dort bumps him, he looks like he's pissed off.
Well, and then on the other end, Gilgeous-Alexander's taking over the game.
Yes.
I mean, he's 6 minutes of MVP level basketball. God, he made a shot over the basket from the side. He made a step back.
Much
he was
better than game 3, when I thought he took some poor shots down the stretch in game 3. He had the shot with 18 seconds left on the shot clock, a heavily contested step back against Derek Lively instead of driving when there's no rim protection inside. But I felt like he took smarter shots within the flow of the offense tonight, and he still took over individually with ISOs and all that as well, but he's picking on mismatches. I thought he picked his spots in a really smart manner, and the shot that he missed down the stretch was halfway down.
Oh, I know.
That sidestep jumper, that was probably over halfway down. I can't believe it rimmed out.
Yeah, and that would have been a dagger, but even those other possessions down the stretch, the ball was in his hands almost every possession. The one
right decision every time.
The one it was not was that miserable Jalen Williams 3.
What happened there? What happened with that one? I guess it doesn't matter. They win the game, but boy, they were more worried about the clock than getting a good shot, which is what happened every time SGA had the ball in his hands, passing or scoring.
And what he was doing is, and this is the way the NBA is played now, which is I'm going in and, so many times these coaches are talking about paint touch, paint touch, paint touch, paint touch, because that's what will collapse the defense. And he's a master at doing this. And twice, not just the shots that he made, twice in absolute crunch time. Paint touch, kick out, Dort nails a three.
Mm-hmm.
Paint touch, kick out, Chet nails a three. So while they had not been making a bunch of threes throughout the game, when it mattered most, they got what they needed on offense. And look, it's a make or miss league, but he generates those open shots for his teammates. Meanwhile, there sure wasn't much being generated on the other side, And that's what you're counting on. There's a couple of those lobs that Luka threw. Other than that, you can't remember, a bunch of these like collapsed defense, great look shots that just didn't go down.
Now, one thing Dallas has relied on in this series is PJ Washington, who we talked about earlier in the week, and I've been high on him for years. I like PJ Washington a lot. However, 5 of 11 from 3 tonight, 5 of 12 in game 3, 7 of 11 in game 2, 2 of 3 in game 1. That has been very, very helpful for Dallas's offense with him getting sagged off. OKC really not worried about him from 3. I wonder at some point, is he going to have a night where he kind of regresses to the mean? Like, can he shoot 50% from 3 throughout the entire series when the Mavericks are relying on him so much? I mean, 11, 12, 11 attempts in the last 3 games from 3 is a lot from PJ Washington. Is he going to have a game where OKC continues playing him the same way and he ends up going 2 for 10? And I just think that's something in the back of my mind here where I love PJ Washington, but can PJ Washington do this for the entire series? They need it from somebody else in here. I mean, you still need your big banger Luka game, and he's not 100%. You might need it from Kyrie Irving, but they're doing a great job defending him, making life hard on him. It can't always be PJ Washington bail out 3-pointers.
I got you, but a lot of those are just practice threes.
Oh yeah, there's open threes. He's a 39% guy on wide open threes in his career. That's good.
And I lived the Rui Hachimura experience last year. It happens. Right?
Yeah, no, it does. It does.
The guy that you just let shoot open threes can sometimes just do it, and sometimes he can even do it in a larger sample because he's open. You ever show up? Anybody that ever shows up early to a NBA game, go stand out there and watch. And I remember when when my son was very little, we went out. We were there early before a game, watching guys warm up, and we watched Tyler Zeller make like 23s in a row. And I was just so you understand, like, those are the guys that people say that guy's a bum or that guy shouldn't be in the league or whatever. Like, that's what an NBA player looks like when he could just stand out there, catch a pass, and knock it down.
For sure.
Whatever he wants to. I mean, these guys they're unbelievable.
We saw that at the NBA draft combine today with the shooting drills. It's like,
that's right.
Zach Edey out there hitting movement threes, Donovan Clingan hitting threes. And it's like, it gives you hope that these guys can end up becoming shooters, but it's big difference doing that in games than it is actually in an open practice court. But ultimately, though, for Dallas, like I bring up PJ Washington because I said this to you after last round. Luka is clearly limited. 6 of 20 tonight. I know he's frustrated, but he's shooting 39% from the field in the series, only 31% from 3 in the series. Now for the entire playoffs, 41% from the field, 26% from 3. These are incredibly low numbers for Luka, the worst he's ever had in his postseason history, some of the worst numbers he's ever had in his entire career. He's limited. And for Dallas here, unless he can get right, like we saw with Jamal Murray in the Denver-Minnesota series, Jamal Murray looks like he has a much better, speed. He looks like he's much more agile out there creating. Luka clearly is not 100% right now, and I don't feel good about Dallas's odds because of that reason. Felt that way before the series. Feel that way even more now, the way these first 4 games have gone.
I know, but he does this crap because you remember the last time we talked like this, he came out, he had 16 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, I know.
And he made all his threes.
Huge, what was it, game 5 against the Clippers?
And it was amazing. And he does it even within the course of a game.
But that game 5 against the Clippers is really his only Luka level game of the postseason. That's it.
I agree. And here's the deal. A lot of what I thought about this series and what would happen in this series was based upon not only the older, more veteran team, but just that history tells us the team with the best player usually comes out of this deal in the series. And right now, there's no question the best player is not Luka. That would have been my wrong prediction, which is I thought Luka Doncic would be the best player on the floor in this series, even in a series that included SGA. And truth be told, SGA's been the best player. And SGA, and this is a perfect example because in the last 6 minutes of that game, SGA made the shots and set up his teammates, and Luka didn't. End of story. And that's, again, you're in a bucket game. Now it's all right. Who's going to make this happen? And my bet would have been on Luka. And over again, that was not the right bet. I mean, SGA, that was superstar stuff for sure. They were dead. They were down 8 in the fourth and then went on that 24-11 run.
Crazy.
You know?
Crazy.
And
started on defense and SGA finished it on offense.
No,
man.
and make some
awesome.
If you just made some free throws, you wouldn't be in this position. Honestly, if they would have just made their free throws, they win it and they're dominating the series. They're up 3-1. Now, they better win 5. They better win 5. Because I think this is one of those where, we've seen so far kind of a back and forth between these. These teams are getting to know each other even better. These teams are making better decisions than they made earlier in the season. Kid went back to Lively quicker than maybe he would have earlier in the series, and maybe not even soon enough. The Lively minutes have been much better than the Gafford minutes, despite the fact that Lively can't seem to make a 1-foot shot.
Yeah,
but
I thought Gafford was pretty good tonight.
He was.
Too. Like, his rim protection was really good. Lively's was as well. They put a lid on the rim, both of those guys. But Lively just feels more vibrant and active out there on the floor. Yeah,
and it's certainly great rim protection. Even if it doesn't show up with blocks, he's certainly stopping guys from driving to the basket. And then on the other side, less giddy. You know what I mean?
12 minutes tonight.
Right.
And barely played in the second half at all.
Going into this game, Kevin, his net rating per 100 possessions, they were getting beat by 30 points with Josh Giddey on the floor. I mean, that's so extreme.
Yeah,
it's
he's been
it's a 2-2 series.
Giddey's been a complete non-factor as a shooter. He's been a complete non-factor as a finisher at the basket. Defensively, he hasn't been an additive presence. And I think with Giddey, the way Dallas is defending him, you talk about how SGA is creating and shining out there on the floor as a shot creator. They're clogging the paint with Giddey's out there. You're seeing far better spacing, driving lanes for Oklahoma City when it's either Isaiah Joe or Cason Wallace or Aaron Wiggins out there. Even with Kenrich Williams, for that matter, I think their spacing is better. Giddey moving forward in the series, I think Daigneault showed the formula in that second half. He had Giddey come off the bench. He had him play some limited minutes. He went away from him when it mattered in the fourth quarter, but he gave it a shot in the third quarter. Maybe that's what you do in game 5. Maybe you start Wallace or you start Isaiah Joe and you have Giddey come off the bench and see if he has it from 3. Because it's not as if Giddey hasn't had stretches this year where he's made those open practice shots. Defenses going back to the beginning of the season would sag off of him and force him to shoot. There were stretches he made over 40% of his threes. And if Oklahoma City can have him on a night where he does that, it creates issues for Dallas if Giddey's hot from 3. So I think benching him entirely might be a bit extreme because of the connective passing and the size he provides. But you got to have a really short leash for Josh Giddey. I thought Daigneault did a good job tonight with that and going to the other players.
You feeling good about your pick still? I mean, look,
I feel great about it.
It's best 2 out of 3 and 2 are in Oklahoma City. If I'm being honest, look, Dallas had to win this game. They're up by 8, and so I don't feel great about it. But I've got Dallas in 6, so they got to go win this game in Oklahoma City. Then they got to turn around and win the home game in Dallas. But
I just don't feel good about Luka, Chris. I don't. I think.
Why would you?
But I think what's going to happen is after Dallas's playoff run is over in a couple days or in a week, however long it'll be until they lose to Oklahoma City, stories will come out about what's actually wrong with Luka.
Oh, it's his knee.
We know it's his knee. He's reaching for his knee, but is there like a surgery needed? I mean, how severe is this injury? What's he playing through right now?
It might be a meniscus, honestly.
It could be. He is severely limited out there. He just doesn't have the same burst. I don't think it's affecting him with the range on his jumper.
Well, and he's also, as I've said, he's irritable.
Oh, for sure.
All the time.
Yeah, he's like back in some bad old habits when he was
no
younger.
Swagger and irritable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's like the aged guy that like can't be what he wants to be. It's always taking it out on everyone.
Bingo, 100%.
Right.
That's exactly what it's like watching him play. It's like what he wants to do and he knows he can do what he has done. He's been amazing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's getting to him. The fact he can't do that. Just
maybe he's just honoring Klay Thompson.
just to put some numbers behind this real quick, Chris, his first 3 playoff runs, so this is 28 games, Luka had a true shooting percentage of 58%, and in those 3 playoff runs he averaged 31 points, 35.7 points, 31.7 points. This year with Dallas, he's averaging only 27 points with a true shooting of 51%. So efficiency has fallen off. Volume has fallen off. The turnovers are up. The complaining is up. The grabbing at the knee is up. Luka's not right.
So
showing up in the numbers, it's showing up in the eye test. Like it's pretty clear something is seriously affecting him now.
So imagine you feel like absolute crap, and then every time you look up, Lou Dort is 1 centimeter from your face with his hot breath.
And Lou Dort probably doesn't even brush his teeth before.
Guaranteed he doesn't. He seems exactly like the kind of guy that intentionally eats hot Cheetos right before he's about to guard you. Right, doesn't he? Just to piss you off even more. I think that's probably, or some Cool Ranch Doritos or something. Just something that like you could smell immediately. And maybe that's what's throwing off Luka so much. I don't know.